All right, guys, it's Rocky Logue here. I'm gonna go over a first day activity that I do a lot. I really like it. I can't remember where I learned it from. I think I Googled it a while back, and I know it was a history teacher. I'm not sure who the person's name was. I don't really remember. It was a long time ago. So if you know who it is, who originated this, you can go ahead and put in the comments who it was so we can properly cite that person. But I took their idea, changed it around a little bit, like we all do, and made it my own. But I love this on the first day of school, especially in 7th grade. The kids are new, they know nothing about me, nothing about my class, and I really like to use this on that day. You'll see there's a little bit of mystery involved in this. This activity is a good get to know you activity. It's also good if you're teaching a class like science or social studies or something where you do investigations, and you'll see why it's good for that, but it would work in any class. There's a lot of acting going on. I think it works really well. Probably it'll work really well in elementary. Well, I know it would. Works well in 7th, 8th grade. In high school, you could still make it work. I'm sure you could do something with it. So let's take a look at it. So the very first thing, this is called What's in the Box. And I have this box here that I've been in front of. The original person I saw used a big box, put it in the center of the room like a big refrigerator box or something. I just use this one. Sometimes I put it in the front where people are coming in. It's got caution tape. It's got chains and locks and things on it. And the main thing is you gotta act like the box does not exist. So while you're going, box doesn't exist. Kids might ask you, hey, what's that over there? And you just go, what are you talking about? Again, we want to create a mystery around the box here. And we're going to get into the acting part of this and the presentation of this. But again, set the box somewhere. I'll show you what's in it later, and you can change what's in it depending on what you teach or what you want to do. So anyway, so kids come in, box is here. I act like it's not here. I act like I'm a stuffy teacher on the first day of class, and I need to go over the rules with everybody and tell everybody what you're supposed to do. So this presentation, once the kids get seated, done with roll, kids are all seated. I have the presentation up here. It's nothing special, so I'll share it, but it doesn't really matter what the presentation. It's just a fake kind of I'm going over rules presentation. I have a remote where I can go forward and backward on the slides. I think that makes this work really easily. You don't have to do the slides like I do them. I just do them this way because I think it adds. So kids come in, I'm Mr. Logue, you were in my class, here are my rules, and I start going over my rules. Again, this is arbitrary. These aren't my real rules. These aren't my real procedures, but I'm trying to act like it's the car wash of things, right? They're going from class to class. So let's get to rule number 1. You can never, ever, ever use the bathroom in my class. Again, it's not my real rule, but I'm in front of the box here. I don't notice it, trying to get them to notice it. I'm talking about these rules that are kind of gregarious, just, you know, hey, you gotta do this, that, and the other. But as I'm going over rule number 1, what happens is I secretly click to the next slide. And in this slide, you may not be able to read it from where you are, but it says, don't touch the box. I don't look at that slide. I act like it doesn't exist. You'll start to see some kids may see it, some kids may not. When you see them lock in on that and you see them start talking to each other, you can even say, hey, you know, keep it down, no talking, I'm talking right now, type of deal. And then you move on to rule number 2. I start talking about rule number 2, homework in this class. You'll have so much homework, it's gonna make your brain swell and all this and that. But while I'm talking about it, I switch to this. And then you start getting some people. It's nice when you have the kids that like to talk out and want to raise their hand and want to point it out. And I'm like, no, what are you talking about? And then finally you call on a kid, or kids are like pointing at the screen. You're like, what are you doing? And they'll tell you, and I never look when this is on the screen, right? I'm going to, if I want to go past the snake, I go to rule number 3. And they'll say, look at the screen. And I'll say, what are you talking about? It says rule number 3. And they'll say, no, there was a snake up there. And I'll quickly go, no, there's not. It says rule number 2, right? Again, they'll be able to see that quick thing, but I'll never look when the snake is up there because I'm creating this mystery over the box and everything that's happening. And they're saying, no, it says after you did, you know, slide number 2, rule number 2, it said, it showed a snake. And I'll go, and I won't look. Go really quick, and I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking about, but let's go over rule number 3. First of all, no talking in class, ever. And I just keep going over these arbitrary rules and put the snake up. And I'll just push it, right? That's kind of a feel thing. How long can I do this? How long can I push the kids with this little ruse? And finally I'll go, okay, whatever. And I'll look and I'm like, how did that get in there? I didn't put that there. How did that slide get there? And so now I'm, continuing with the ruse. And then they're like, we just go through it. You just kind of just work the room with it. And then you notice that, oh, is this the box that we're talking about? Is this the box? And all right, inevitably they're like, yes, yes. Hopefully you can build it up enough to where they really want to see the box. I mean, that's your job as a teacher, is to make it so they really want to, you want to get that suspense going and have them really want to see the box. So here's what it is. I'm going to switch over and show you what's in the box and tell you what I do with it. Now, presentation, I don't care about that anymore. It's done. It was just as part of the ruse, part of the whole deal. So let me show you what's actually in the box. All right, now that I built up the suspense enough to get into seeing what's in the box. You can see, again, I have chains on this and old locks. They have these around school. I just went around the first day. Like, do you have any chains or anything I can use? They're old chains. There's some locks on them. They were cut off of whatever they were cut off of. Caution tape, got that from school too. Didn't have to pay for anything. I had this box laying around. You could use a cardboard box. I just had this box. So I decided to use this box. And what I do is then I open the box, and we start looking at what's in it. And I start holding up some items that are kind of odd. What is that? Oh, there's a seashell in here. Here's another item that not quite sure what it is. And what I do is say, hey, let's take a look at what's in the box. And I go around the tables and I say, hey, pick 4 items out of the box. I try to make it kind of random. So maybe this table gets this item, gets this. Some items are pretty random. We don't know what they are. Go around, okay, this table, you get those 4 items. The next table, you get this report card. And well, I don't even really tell them what they are. I let them decide what they are. Obviously, some are obvious if you give them a flag or a golf ball or something like that. And I'll pass those out. And then it's their job to figure out, are there any connections? And what are these items? And so like an item like this may go the whole time and nobody knows. All right, this is surf wax, right? This is a tin cup from the Ponderosa Ranch. This is a hard drive. This is a shell. Do they have any connections? What's the deal? Some items, there's little hints in them. Like for instance, this is this is an 8th grade report card. And if you really investigate it properly, you'll see it's got my name up here. That's my real name, Steve. So it's got my report card. So some are giveaways, right? So these are all things that represent me. That's what if they come to the conclusion, that's great, because that's what they do represent, and usually do. There's some other giveaway things, like I have older pictures of me and stuff in here that they can figure out. And I also have pictures of my kids in here, and some people know my kids. So that's really it. The connection is introducing me to class. Hopefully they can investigate and find that out. If they don't, they don't. If they find other connections, you talk about other connections. But again, it's a way to investigate and to get into history and look at artifacts to make decisions on, do they go together? Do they have any meaning? And what are their meanings? And everything in here does have a meaning. It all has to do with me. You don't have to include things that have to do with you. It could be your classroom. It could be the way you teach. It could be anything. You make your box the way you want to make it. And that's really it. So my class, I make it an investigation lesson. I don't go over any class rules with this. I don't use this for class rules at all. I use it to get to know the kids. I use it to break the ice, to show that this class is kind of fun, to show that you can have discussions with people at the tables, to show how to investigate, to look at the clues that you're given, to make connections. So I'm getting a lot into curriculum on the first day and having a good time. And hopefully this is breaking the ice for me and the students. And that's really it. You could adapt this for, obviously, you could use it for science, you could use it for anything. You can make your box be about you. You could make it be about whatever you want. And just basically to break the ice. You could use a presentation like I do, or you could not use a presentation. You could have no presentation in just the box and just have it in the middle of the room and have kids just, wonder what it's there for and then bring it up. But that's it. It doesn't take long to do, doesn't take long to put together. It's a really fun icebreaker activity. I hope you use it if you can, and I hope you enjoyed it. So that's it.